things?
Well, the system as it is today is extraordinarily elaborate, but it's not a whole lot of, it's what's called machine learning. So you find things that are predictive. You might guess, oh, such and such should be predictive, might be predictive, and you test it out in the computer, and maybe it isn't, maybe it isn't. You test it out on long-term historical data and price data and other things, and then you add to the system this if it works, and if it doesn't, you throw it out. So there aren't elaborate equations, at least not for the prediction part. But the prediction part is not the only part. You have to know what your costs are when you trade. You're going to move the market when you trade. Now, the average person will buy 200 shares of something, and he's not going to move the market at all because it's too small. But if you want to buy 200,000 shares, you're going to push the price. How much are you going to push the price? How are you going to, are you going to push it so far that you can't make any money because you've distorted things so much? So you have to understand costs, and that's something that's important. And then you have to understand how to minimize the volatility of the whole assembly of positions that you have, and be so you have to do that. That last part takes some fairly sophisticated applied mathematics, not earth-shattering, but fairly sophisticated.
What discipline of mathematics or disciplines? Is it multidisciplinary, or are we talking?
It's mostly statistics. It's mostly statistics, and some probability theory, and but I can't get into what things we do use and what things we don't use. We reach for different things that might be effective. So we're very universal. We don't have any, but it's a big computer model. For one thing, there is a capacity to the major model. It can manage a certain amount of money, which is rather large, but it can't manage an enormous amount of money because you're going to end up pushing the market around too much. So it's kind of a sweet spot as to how much it's reasonable to manage. Therefore, it would never grow into some behemoth which would take everybody out and you'd be the only player. I mean, well, of course, if you were the only player, there'd be no one to play against. There are limitations, at least the way we see it. But we keep improving it. We have about 100 PhDs working for the firm.
That's what I mean. How did you get to that point? Did you start to think, we need this, we need that?
We just hired smart people. My algorithm has always been, you get smart people together, you give them a lot of freedom, create an atmosphere where everyone talks to everyone else. They're not hiding in a corner with their own little thing. They talk to everybody else, and you provide the best infrastructure, the best computers and so on that people can work with, and make everyone partners. So that was the model that we used in Renaissance. So we would bring in smart folks, and they didn't know anything about finance, but they learned.
What was your employment criteria then? If they knew nothing about finance, what were you looking for in them?
Someone with a PhD in physics and who'd had 5 years out and had written a few good papers and was obviously a smart guy, or in astronomy, or in mathematics, or in statistics. Someone who had done science and done it well and was interested in, applying his mind, or her mind, although it was mostly his, to modeling markets and making money. But it's a very good spirit. Now, I've been 6 years away from the company.